For sure.
All right, it's October 31st, 2022.
Woo-hoo. Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Hell yeah.
I had a pillow in the back of my hoodie earlier. I was like, look, I'm Fetterman.
Dude, they were kind of clowning him this morning on Newsmax for the hoodies. They're like, what is he trying to do? What's he trying to do? Like, put on a suit, man. He's like, you coming out in hoodies all the time. I thought that was funny. Nobody's making fun of his medical condition,
He's from
but bro,
Philadelphia, and that's how heroin addicts dress.
I guess so.
So he is
Blending in with the
blending
people.
in with the base.
Blending
I'll
in.
never knock a man for wearing a hoodie.
Oh, no, but when you're a politician, yeah, fuck that. Put on a suit, bro.
You remember how much fun? You might not. I don't know why I remember it. But do you remember how much hell they gave George Bush for taking his jacket off during the debates?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the
that's
news
why
was
it's
like-
always, that's why it's great how it comes out now that it's okay.
Yeah.
You got a man in a suit talking eloquently. Is that the right word? Eloquently?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Close enough. Sounds
Talking
good.
pretty damn good. And then you got a stummering guy over
Yeah.
here who's clearly suffering from the stroke 5 months ago. Like, the Democrat Party in Pennsylvania they should actually be ashamed of themselves for backing this guy. You'd be like, no, you can come back next year, bro, or something, because you are not fit.
Yeah.
Rehabilitate yourself and come back so you can represent the people in your district. That he can't represent. How can you represent somebody if you can't talk?
You can't listen without closed captioning.
Right.
Like, okay, let's stand there for a minute and pretend that in a perfect world, every time he's at work at Congress, they're going to provide him with closed captioning.
I mean, I'm sure they can.
I'm sure
it's the
they
federal
can.
government. That's probably not a problem. But should they?
Yeah, but what about on the street?
Here's the thing, though.
He's got to talk to his people. This is the issue with me. The people. Why aren't the people the top priority? He's got to talk to the people. If he can't communicate clearly with the people who are giving him the votes, then he is useless.
And yes, to a point. But as a little bit of pushback on that, not so much. When you're a senator, you're not so much for the people as you are the state. And yes, the state is made up of the people, but the House of Representatives is for the people. That's why there's so many of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Those are for the people. The senators are for the state. You know, it represents the state's interest. You know, so, and that's why you see Joe Manchin, who is a Democrat, highly supporting coal mining and those types of trades, even though that's completely against the left's agenda. But he'll stand up for coal all day long because that's who elects him.
Right.
The state.
Right.
You know?
Well,
I mean, so...
He might not like it, but without coal, he's got no state.
Right. So, you know, he's constantly going against the agenda with that. You know, I just... I forgot where I was going with that. Just completely had a brain fart right there.
It's all right. It's Halloween.
No, I'm already in my costume. I guess I'm being Joe Biden this fucking year. I just completely lost a train of thought right there, bro. Anyway, what's new with you? Let's see if the media will protect me as much as they protect him.
So, you know what's got me? The Paul Pelosi story right now. That's got my attention. It's Halloween. We're going to talk about some other stuff, but we got to talk about the Paul Pelosi thing.
Yeah, well, we
because
can
the
touch
more
base on a lot of subjects.
the more that comes out The more what the...
But-
Okay, so...
Can we start this conversation off by saying, quick recovery, Paul Pelosi. I don't want the man to die. I'm sorry he got assaulted. You know, I hope he heals quickly.
Absolutely.
Now, because I know what you was about to
Absolutely
say.
agree
So
with
go ahead
that.
and finish what you saying.
What was going on in that house? When the police showed up, a man answered the door. Okay, hang on. Because I'm going over to my whiteboard for this. I bought it. We're going to use it. So, please come to the door. A man answers the door. It's one.
Strike one for me.
When the police look inside, according to the recorded report, they saw Paul Pelosi and the other man wrestling over a hammer. Apparently both men were in their underwear. We're not sure what this man was in. He just answered the door.
Yeah.
Wait. There are 3 men in the house. We don't even know who the third person is.
I mean, the third person could be a butler for all we know. They're rich. Who knows? We don't know who that guy is.
Why was
or that
everybody in
person.
their underwear?
We don't know. We don't know who that is.
Did the guy really just come in the back door with a hammer? Or...
Well, apparently the back door was broken, but the glass was broken out. Is
Oh.
what they're saying this morning. There was glass on the patio as if it had been broken out. That's how this person gained entry.
Or did the
But the
glass
glass
get
is
broken
broken
out from a scuffle that was...
I don't know. That's the thing.
I feel like there's a chance this man was invited in the home. Maybe some blackmail was attempted.
You know,
And the scuffle began. I mean, I don't feel like... I'm not making accusations.
yeah,
They're rich. Rich people are weird.
Yeah.
We've worked for them together before. Rich
Oh, yeah.
people are weird. And, dude, I don't... Have you seen the picture of the guy that was filming at January 6th next to the picture of the guy that was at the Pelosi home?
no, I haven't. Dude, like I said, you know, weekends I work long hours, so I don't really get to see the news until Monday morning. So I hadn't really seen anything really except what I saw this morning and what's flashed across the screen over the weekend. I did hear that Paul Pelosi got attacked, and I hear big news stories, but as far as digging into anything, I didn't hear anything until this morning when I turned the news on. But
Yeah, so there was a guy filming at January 6th that looked a lot like this man. I'm just saying there's
a whole bunch of-
questions to the scenario.
and that's exactly the reason why anybody, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I don't keep up with it. But whatever it is, I know I've seen it. They're already saying this guy was a right-wing conspiracy theorist because he had zip ties in his book bag. You know what I mean? Like, they've already put a right-wing...
So
attack-
was he dressed was he ready for a tactical attack, or was he in his underwear? He was in his underwear when the police arrived.
He was, or Paul was?
He was. They both were. From the stories, the man was wearing nothing but his underwear.
And they only said that
So
that he only got attacked after the police were there. Like, they were scuffling. And when the police told him to put his hands up, Paul Pelosi stopped scuffling, and that's when the dude hit him in the face.
see,
That's a story that I heard this morning.
it just gets weirder and
Yeah,
weirder.
It's gonna, that's an investigation. It's
We're never going to hear the truth of it.
but
Oh, we might. We might. After the election.
we won't, man. Just like we won't see any, whether it's Republican or Democrat, when they get in trouble, you don't ever hear about the final conclusion.
Nah,
They just
Mar-a-Lago got
disappear.
real
If they
quiet.
get in big enough trouble, they just disappear. right off into the sunset. And I don't mean Hillary Clinton disappear. I mean, fat pension disappear.
Yeah. Man, how about what Elon did to Twitter?
I think it's great, first of all, because almost all social media is dominated by the left. So it's great to have someone who's going to let both sides equally speak.
Right.
I've never been about silencing the left side. I want to hear what you got to say.
I got
But
Truth
I
Social.
want you to hear my counterpoints too.
Yeah.
And they don't usually. So I think it's great. I hope it's a free speech territory. I hope he reinstates everybody with a clean slate. I've told you several times during this little show that we have that I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but I don't think he should be silenced. I'm not a fan of Milo, but he should not be silenced. These are all people that have been banned off Twitter because of their right-leaning views. Alex Jones and Milo both are very, very far right. But I still think, if the Taliban can have a Twitter handle, then...
That's what gets me. And, one of the reasons, the thing that the left has killed me with is one of the reasons they don't want Elon Musk taking it over is they are afraid that anti-Semitism will become bigger on Twitter. And I'm like, let's go look at Twitter when Donald Trump made Jerusalem the capital, recognized Jerusalem, and went to the wall. And let's realize that while you supported him being banned, you still allowed Hamas and ISIS to openly recruit on Twitter.
Yep.
And you're going to come to me now and say, you fear anti-Semitism? And Kanye West, all of a sudden now, back in 2018, he was Kim Kardashian remembers him being anti-Semitic, and he was trying to name an album after Hitler, and I'm like, in 2018, he was the most influential rapper. So, why wasn't this a thing then? Why didn't you say shit then?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because he was still under the spell.
Yeah.
He was in a very Hollywood bubble with the Kardashians. Even though Caitlyn Jenner is very, very Republican. She aligns herself with several Republican senators. Even though she's a transgender person, she's Republican. But that still doesn't keep the Hollywood elite, that they have their own bubble.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even know what happens to us normal folk 90% of the time. So that's why he was in that bubble. And it's easy to make good music when you're closed-minded and you don't see what's really going on in this world. I think a lot of Hollywood elites are definitely in that bubble.
Truth. But yeah, no, I've been tearing people up on Facebook because I learned that you can search by year. You can search a subject by year on Facebook, and I figured out how. You go up to the search bar and you search Kanye West, influential rapper, and then you go over to the filter and you go down to like 2018. Oh yeah,
it's all over there.
I've been throwing shit up left and right. This didn't age well, did it? When Joe Biden said that we were going to send the immigrants back down to Mexico because there was too much of an overflow 3 weeks ago, and everybody was like, well, if that's what you got to do, boy, did I go back and find Politico arguments from the Remain in Mexico era. And be like, boy, this didn't age well at all, did it?
Dude, and you know what? It's just, I hate to say it, but it's for the average person, it's been a rough 2 years, man. Like I'm telling you, like the day Joe Biden went into office, gas prices went up 50 cents, I feel like, or something. It was weird how things just went up as soon as he took office.
So
was weird.
just how deep do you think Saudi Arabia is about to shove their strong hand into our turkey?
Look, they already did by announcing it. And the fact that they waited until November 1st because they knew that if they implemented it too early, that they wouldn't, there's still oil in the market that they weren't going to get properly paid for. So November 1st is a huge, that's usually the day that your refineries start switching over fuels and they use less diesel because there's a lot of construction equipment that runs on diesel. They stopped making a lot of that shit. November 1st was a very smart move, Mr. OPEC Plus. It wasn't just Saudi Arabia, it was OPEC Plus. It's like 9 countries that produce oil. I'm pretty sure Venezuela's even in that shit.
How high do you think it's going to go?
Well, I mean, that I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is we still have 2 long years because Republican and Republican control of the House and Senate, unless we can impeach Joe Biden, Joe Biden can veto anything. So the Congress can't start drilling. We need a president.
Right.
So we still got 2 more years of this guy. Unless they impeach him. And then what? Kamala? You're still not going to get a Republican in. Your only hope is they impeach him and Kamala, and you make Kevin McCarthy president. Because he'd be third in line by the time that happens.
Right.
Because he's the leader of the House if we win back the House. But, so to answer your question, the average person, such as myself, that puts $40 every 4 or 5 days in their car, or maybe you are a $20 every other day kind of person. Everybody's different on how they consume gas, but I think it's fair to say we all go through several $100s a month in fuel.
I don't think it burns like it used to.
I don't think it does either. I get less mileage out of it. I think it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna hurt. I think you could definitely see $6 gas right here in West Virginia. So that means California, New Yorker, that's 9, 10. And then on top of that, you're gonna have those high gas prices, and our commander in chief has damn near drained our reserves. So as far as a fuel crisis, it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming.
And as it dwindles down, they've got to concentrate what supply they have to their diesel.
Yeah, because diesel makes the world go around.
Yeah.
Every truck in this world.
They're going to make sure there's diesel before they make sure there's unleaded.
Everything that you can touch in this fucking room came on a truck.
Oh, yeah.
Diesel is... And apparently there's only a 25-day supply left in the reserves.
Dude.
So...
It's...
And you know how you get diesel. I mean, diesel's easy to refine.
It's
the easiest to refine.
It
you get
is.
regular gas from diesel.
Right.
But where does the diesel come from? Oh, the crude oil that Saudi Arabia is about to say fuck you on.
Right. Right.
Oops. Somebody didn't think about that one.
I don't understand. It's got to be intentional.
I don't understand how people can just let him do that. It's called
They support
strategic
him.
But that's the problem when you appoint people that align with your views into our military. Like, our top commanders should have nothing to do. Like, the president shouldn't really make.
Well,
You know what I mean? Our military needs to be separate, and that strategic oil reserve should be military controlled, outside of the president and Congress saying something to the military.
right.
That's called your separation of powers. There's no way that President Biden should have unilateral control over our strategic reserve. This is not a strategy.
Right.
This is a political attempt to get gas prices down before the midterms.
I love the prince's response to him. I will not help you with your corruption.
Oh yeah, he called out his quid pro quo. So I hope we get him on that too. Cause
no, nobody sees it. This is what really
Matt
gets
Gaetz
my
does.
attention. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, this kind of stuff is exactly what y'all were talking about.
Yep.
So what scares you, man? It's Halloween.
Yeah.
What scares you?
I mean, shit. Well, I mean, damn, I could start.
Besides dying to a Cardi B song in the background.
Well, hey, when you think about the bigger picture,
Drowning in a car while Cardi B plays on the radio.
Dying is dying. I don't think it matters the music that's playing because I don't really
want to die.
I don't really feel like you're gonna remember much after you cross that there bridge. But hey, hey, whatever. The problem is when the investigators pull up to this crime scene and they're like, this motherfucker was listening to this shit. That's the problem. Especially if it's been horrendous. Maybe you got a 2x4 shoved into your ass because of some faulty lumber mill accident, and Cardi B's playing it, and your WAP is all exposed. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, shit.
Man.
But yeah, so how's it been going? How's the job, man?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Steady work. Can't complain about it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. That's what's up.
People keep offering me kitchen jobs. And they want to pay me the same amount of money to be stressed out when all I got to do is put meat on shelves or clean the meat room.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't even really have to do that until the manager is like, go do that. And you're like, yes, my directions are very clear.
Right. Well, no, like it's 8 hours. I mean, I'm busy.
Yeah, but you're told what to do. It's easy. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
And it's the same amount of money that anybody's going to give me to go be. So, I'm back to cooking. Last night I made a filet with homemade gnocchi and spinach.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Throw some feta in there.
I was
Spinach
going
feta
to.
gnocchi.
Right.
Delicious.
Right. Had some lemon, some olive oil.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's great, man.
I want to get some cameras and find a good kitchen. Mine's not a good kitchen. Start doing the cooking.
Yeah, I mean,
I
dude,
need
Chef
gas.
Paul does that shit, man, and he does pretty good with that.
I need gas.
I
can't cook on electric.
No, definitely. You have the ability, you have the ability to set you up a nice outdoor kitchen right here.
Right.
Just like anybody else, just need some funds.
Right.
You know what I mean? If everything was paid and everything was fixed and you had an extra couple thousand laying around, yeah, you're building an outdoor kitchen, bro.
I really
just
want.
So you could do
I've
that.
said I want an outdoor kitchen several times.
Yeah, for sure. But just like everybody else in this fucking country, there's a list of shit that needs to happen before that takes place.
Right.
And it never fails because I wake up every fucking morning and put something else on this damn list.
Right. Tires. Tires
It's
is
always
next.
something. Yeah, it's always something. It's always something. And that's exactly the reason why I'm putting my $10 in the pot tonight, sir. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my $10 in. I'm gonna get a chance to win $1 billion. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I know I'm not gonna win. Definitely not gonna win if you don't play. So fuck it.
Right. Right.
$10 ain't shit.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, I'd love to hit. I don't want the lottery. I watched what happened to Jack Whitaker. I'm scared to death to hit the lottery.
no. See, that's the thing, man. Is it and West Virginia passed that law a couple of years ago where you don't have to announce nothing. You don't have to announce nothing. When people win and they're not patient, that's why they get out in the public eye. And now I've just recently learned this. You know what I mean? Like, if you win the lottery, the very first thing you fucking do is sign the back of that ticket. It's the very first thing you do. At 11:59 at night, when you learn that you won the lottery, you sign the back of that ticket. Because then nobody else can claim it. Second thing you do is you wake up that following morning and you call an attorney and a financial advisor. And you tell them exactly what just happened. And you know what the first thing that financial advisor is going to do? He's going to tell you to be patient and wait. It takes 6 months. Less than 6 months. I think the law is less than 6 months. So 180 days. You know in your head you're a millionaire, but you got nothing. Because it takes a while to get millions of dollars from each state, pull it together, tax the fuck out of it, and then give it to you. It takes a long fucking time. If you hire the right financial advisor, once they verify you won that financial advisor might kick you $10,000 or $15,000. Just so you can quit your job. You can do some things like that. You can start planning. $10,000, you know, you could spend a couple $1,000s and draw up plans for a house. You can get things started. But what they do is people want money now. And if you want money now, the state of West Virginia will give you $1.5 million of your winnings right now. But you got to pose with your West Virginia lottery sign. I won the fucking lot. And when you do that, you're fucked. Because now all your cousins' and cousins'
Man, you know how my family's been with me. Do you know how I would react if they suddenly called me after I won the lottery? You know, I would give them the ass chew, and I felt they always deserved, but was always afraid to give them.
No, but you know what's better than that? You know what's better than that? It's when they call and you're like, who? I'm sorry, I don't remember you.
I'd buy them a plane ticket, and when they landed, I'd hand them a Happy Meal and laugh at them and get back in the car.
That's epic. What about the plane ride back? No?
It's not my fucking problem.
One-way ticket and a Happy Meal. Thanks for being my family all these years when I needed you.
You're right. Where are you going? Where you been?
I'm going to Tahiti while the contractor builds my house, dude.
Tahiti.
Dude, I'm telling you. Because I don't need nothing big. But I promise you, I'm finding the smallest contractor who's legit. Like the 2 or 3 man crew that will build me an amazingly beautiful house. But it's going to take them like 6 months. And I'm like, here's the blueprints, bro. The truck's on the way. I'll see you in 6 months.
Right.
And I'm going to see and do everything that I didn't get to see or do. You know what I mean?
There's going to be hidden rooms.
There's going to be blueprints.
It's going to be like rose red in that motherfucker.
And the architect's going to be some college grad who hadn't got a job yet. And
right.
So like, come here, motherfucker. And I'm going to hold him to a freaking whatever it's called. Non-disclosure or some shit. You know
right, right.
Or the opposite. The exact opposite. I'm going to find me an 80-year-old architect.
Right.
You take that shit to the grave, homie. Draw me up some plans. I mean, shit, if the federal government can build secret rooms under a functioning international airport in Denver, Colorado, why can't I have an architect that's 80 that's getting ready to die?
You know, I was watching a thing on Tesla's boring company the other day. Man, His boring company is far more impressive than SpaceX. This dude just dug a tunnel under Los Angeles. Like, nobody's really talking about it, but he can just dig a tunnel with his boring machine.
And apparently,
Like,
the long-term goal was New York to California in 6 hours or some shit, some craziness. And I think that the tunnel that he had dug or built under Los Angeles was only like 200 miles long, but I think it's there.
it's
I don't know if
there.
it's functioning.
It took him like 6 months to dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's functioning, but apparently it's a couple hundred miles long.
Yeah,
I mean,
to dig it. I mean, digging it's the big part. Once you
Right.
got it dug, now you reinforce, and then you got to do what you want in
Yeah.
there. But it took him. Like, apparently, this machine's a badass.
have you seen it?
Yeah,
I saw pictures of it.
yeah.
It looks relatively impressive.
Wow.
But, you know, hey, man, like Elon, dude, he's got his hands in so much shit. And I really do think he's just like a modern day genius. But I also think that I'm not going to say like the Antichrist or anything like that, but like his long-term plans for Twitter are a little weird.
Well, he wants to mimic
China's
China's.
what's it called? WeChat.
Yeah.
Like everything. You can get bus tickets, plane tickets, order food, get a hotel room, all of this on one single app.
Right.
And that's also how China influences their social score. You know, they have a social credit score. And you can post shit on their social media, but you get flagged. And if your social credit score goes down, you lose access to a lot of shit.
Well, did you see where PayPal attempted to start financially fining people for
$2,500 for like some kind of
for breaking policy or
something like that.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't let people cancel their subscription after that.
You know that's how Elon got his money, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Just invented PayPal, sold it to eBay for like $100 gazillion, whatever it was. I know it was a lot of fucking money.
Right. Right.
How do you just invent something and make everybody else pay you for it? Fucking genius, man. You know, every time I order something off of eBay or I use PayPal
Right.
because it's secure. Not anymore. Fuck y'all. You ain't gonna tax me for. I'm gonna say what the fuck I
I'm going
want.
to say what I want to say. Boy, people do not like free speech anymore.
No. And that's exactly the reason why what I told you in there. Like, if we pick up a certain amount of house seats, that we could take house control for 10 years or more. So that was, you know, that's good. And
I really have a fear that something big is going to happen between now and the election. I have a legitimate concern. The Democrats know they're
yeah, they're definitely.
the only
They're
answer.
definitely-
The only answer they have for any kind of hopeful future right now is somehow we cancel. They got to find a way to stop the election, or at least postpone it. And hear me out. That we've already found the loaded ballot boxes in one of the states. So I mean, people are, you know, their eyes on this election. People are watching. They caught some lady somewhere putting like 3 ballots in, and that shit hit the news. And that lady was like, "This is my father's ballot, my mother's ballot, my ballot. Here's the names on them." You know what I mean? Like somebody called her out though. She was just trying to drop off ballots, and somebody called her out.
Well, they should.
And like,
At least, I mean, you know, at least to see what's up. Because, I mean, look, I'm not. I hate to be in that same. I hate the way the media groups anybody with a question about it as an election denier.
Well, that's
and
your
that's all the
first.
Democrats have done.
That's your first alarm.
You know, like, yeah. So, I mean, I hate the way they do that. You know, and you know, there's enough proof that there was some funny shit going on in 2020. Whether that can overturn the election or not, we'll never know that.
I believe if the Hunter Biden story alone had not been suppressed, that it would have greatly changed the turnout of the election on a lot of levels.
There was, like, so I've told you about this guy that I watch on YouTube sometimes, Tim Pool.
Right?
He does a podcast. I mean, he's in West Virginia. He bought property in West Virginia because of the freedoms and, you know, constitutional carry and stuff like that. But he's in West Virginia, so I kind of got him with that. But yeah, he says that it's good and it's gonna be bad, man. You know what I mean? And that's just one person's opinion, but
A lot of things are going to get bad.
yep. And now this whole wheat thing with Russia.
Well, that's just
You hear
your
about
bread.
No, that's no.
Wink, wink. Yeah, I know.
That's bad.
That's real bad.
Dude, Ukraine supplies like all of the Middle East, Northern Africa. I mean, they supply a lot of the world with their wheat. And then on top of that, there's something up, maybe floods or something like that, the Mississippi River.
Oh no, it dried up. Whoa,
So they can't get the barges. Okay, so it's the opposite. They can't get the barges up the river to get the wheat right here in the States. Like, they can't get the wheat down to New Orleans or wherever it's got to ship out from because, like, I just barely heard about it. And then I couldn't find the story again. So if you got something on it, then
Oh man, it's a major.
clarify that for me, because
It's a big story, man. And some of the pictures are scary. You have to prepare yourself.
but West Virginia is
Man,
like experienced a record high in rain this year, and the Mississippi rivers are going dry.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
yeah.
Exposed by drought as water levels plummet.
We just look it up just like that. Mississippi River going dry.
Approaching its lowest water level in 10 years. These conditions are wreaking havoc on the agriculture industry, river transportation, and the communities that depend on the water. Wow.
Oh, it's it's serious.
Yeah. It definitely looks like it. Holy cow.
It's been drying up for a minute. That's the part that's got my attention. Is when I dwell into this. It's been happening for a minute. We've been talking about the river, the lake, out in
But
Vegas, but nobody even brought up the Mississippi River.
I mean, I don't know. That's the part I don't get. Is like, we've had so much rain here in the Northeast, and the Northeast, like a lot of our rivers here go to the Mississippi.
Yeah,
You know, Kanawha to the Ohio straight to the Mississippi. The Ohio, you would think a severe drought like this would trickle upstream, right?
right.
Like, I don't understand why it's just here. Especially the Mississippi River gets all of its water from northern bigger rivers,
It's the end
where all the
times.
rain is. Is CNN doing this again?
It's the end times.
I mean, Hank said it. Mississippi River, she's a going dry.
Yeah.
But he said that back in the 80s, though, so maybe it's just
He
some kind
called
of
it-
cyclical type shit.
Like here's.
Oh, yeah, you can see a huge difference 2021 to 2022.
Yeah. I mean, if that pinches off right there, do you know what that does to our supply routes?
Well, apparently it's already affecting agricultural stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and not just that, like a lot of our coal you see on barges is
Yeah.
going down the Mississippi to the New Orleans.
Right.
That's where it's headed.
Right.
So, I mean,
So that's coal exports.
yeah. So everything's going to get backlogged.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I guess that's one problem. We can't really blame on Joe. I mean, he's got enough of them. He doesn't need any more problems.
Yeah, well. Let me think for a minute.
Well, I mean, the thing about that is that's nothing that can be fixed overnight or a week or 2 or 3
There's nothing
or 4.
you can do about
It
that.
has
except
to rain for months on end.
Yeah,
It has to fucking rain.
Pray.
Like, how do you fix a drought?
pray.
Pray. Looker. And if you don't pray, then you better be able to do a rain dance.
Pray or carry buckets of water.
From where?
Upriver?
Oh,
Downriver? There's more water downriver.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so I mean, and then Russia just backed out of the UN brokered deal to ship grain out of the Black Sea. So they've created a blockade in the Black Sea, which I don't know how, unless I'm wrong, that the Black Sea is not international waters.
No.
Is it strictly owned by Russia?
Mm-hmm.
How when it borders several other countries?
I don't know. Ask the other countries.
Right. I mean, it's Ukraine and
Yeah, but
Hungary.
these are all very Russian-friendly countries. They probably just don't care. Like, you can't do anything with it. Nothing lives in it. It's a useless body of water. Unless you want to play with your toy boats.
Does these grain shipments affect any NATO countries or UN countries?
Probably at some
if it
point.
does, isn't world famine, is that a declaration of war against the world? How does that work? I mean, you can't just starve the world because you're mad at Ukraine.
He's not mad at
How
Ukraine.
do you get away with that?
He's not mad at Ukraine.
Well, he's at war with Ukraine, so he's stopping their grain shipments. So, and that decision alone affects hundreds of millions of other people that rely on that grain. So instead of now a war being fought between Russia and Ukraine, Russia has just involved a good portion of the rest of the world that rely on that grain.
He's mad at... Wait.
The UN, yes. I get that. But my question is still, how do you
Keep going.
How do you make a decision that affects so many hundreds of millions of people that aren't in this conflict? And where does the line drawn where world famine is not a declaration of war?
Do we have a right as a country to decide our oil's our oil, our food's our food? We're going to self-sustain. We're going to shut everything down. We're not going to export anything. And we're just going to take care of our people to the best of our ability. Do we have a right as a country to say that?
Not in today's society, no. Because we are heavily dependent on other people, too.
Because, the corner we have Russia backed into right now is kind of like me and my family. Like, it's like, look, we're going to treat you however the fuck we want to treat you, but you got to keep holding up your end of the bargains. I feel like he's getting tired of this. I feel like he's about to shut down. He's going to take care of his people. He's got the oil, the natural gas, and the food to take care of his people and fight a global war.
No.
He doesn't have the military to do it.
No.
But
like Russia does not have the capabilities to fight against everybody.
No.
No way.
But with their allies, they have the ability to sustain themselves throughout the conflict. Now, this is assuming they win. I'm not saying they can win or lose. I'm not talking about I'm just saying if them, China, and all these other countries decide, look, we're just going to go to war with NATO. Russia has the ability to sustain its citizens privately throughout the conflict.
Yes, I get that
And
point.
the ability
And,
to
you know-
starve half of their enemies. We're not saying Vladimir Putin's a good man.
No,
I'm just saying
but
strategically.
from a military standpoint, if you wanted to stop Ukraine from shipping grain, you wouldn't just say we're going to blow up your ships. No. You'd make it impossible. You'd blow up their seaport. You'd
Sure.
make it impossible to load that grain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he is literally saying, and this is some of his allies. Iran is a huge importer of Russian wheat or Ukrainian wheat. These are his allies. North Korea, they're all, I mean, I don't think North Korea is, but there's a lot of countries that are very heavily dependent on that wheat. And I see it from your point of view where you say Putin's just watching out for himself. But I believe that this is just the same behavior as a spoiled kid, because he is literally getting shellacked right now on the battlefield, largely because of our weapons.
Right.
So I see why he's doing it. But my question still remains is, what line is there between world famine and a declaration of war? Is there? Is food something to go to war over? Because it seems to be like a basic necessity.
I mean, it used to be. It used to be. Now it's just oil.
Yeah, now,
and policy.
right.
But
and that's my question. Like, you know what I mean? Does UN declare war against Russia because of the world famine that he may create? Not world famine, but it's going to be a huge part of that Middle East that relies on that wheat.
Well,
And Italy, maybe some of them are NATO allies. You know, I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. That requires some research.
he could
But-
shut down and then slowly reintroduce to particular countries. OPEC could become a oil and grain producer. Imagine if they had the oil and the food. There's a lot of possibilities. There's always a reason. We got to wait and see next week's episode, but there's always a reason. And like I said, you know, the thing about the Ukrainian situation is, I'm not siding with Russia. I'm just saying if NATO said, we're costing too many civilian lives on our attempt to bring in your country, so we're going to pull out and we'll rework this out another way later, I believe he would pull out of Ukraine and shit would go back to normal. There wasn't no beef before Joe Biden walked up in that motherfucker.
Why do you think that is?
Because he's tired of watching the United Nations encroach on every country around his.
Or
The only friends he has
Or
are the craziest white people on the planet. The Chechens
yeah,
and the Crimeans.
yeah. But the thing is, you know, damn it. I started looking at this fucking map and I stopped
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah, that's a good one. Global Conflict Alliance map.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's interesting. But no,
it is, because
right here's Ukraine. See how it's blue? It's gray. This map's a couple years old. They're neutral. But they were always friends with Russia. He's tired of this blue.
But they weren't, though.
No,
That's the thing. These countries were formed when the Soviet Union fell apart. These countries that, yes, they might align with Russia. They might, okay, we like y'all, we're cool, but we're our own shit. And that's how Ukraine's always been.
Right.
Well, since the 90s when they were created, whenever it was. I think it was 91 when the Soviet Union fell, 94.
Right.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
It might have been earlier than that.
Actually, I think it was in the 80s. Reagan was
88,
president.
Maybe. It was something like that.
Reagan was president.
Yep.
But, no, I think he's just tired of encroaching. So, with nuclear apocalypse upon us,
Yeah, no.
what's your survival strategies? That's what I got.
Well, I can tell you that it's going to be a whole lot of winging it. You know, like I'm definitely not prepared, but I do know in the event of something like that were to happen, I believe here in West Virginia we're fairly safe. But if it does happen, we need to make moves.
Oh, yeah.
So my moves instantly are going to be either call or find a way to connect with different people, such as yourself and a couple of my other friends, and see, you know,
My
what's
front
up.
yard's going to be busy.
So, but I do know that getting as far away from the fucking city is going to be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I don't know where I'll end up or, you know, but I do know that something like that, Brandy and Abigail would never be able to.
Yeah.
Abigail will be fine, but
Abigail figure it out because she has to.
she's young. She'll figure it out. But Brandy, on the other hand, man, she's 45 and acts like she's 60.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Already.
Right.
So it's like she's gonna be a liability.
Well,
So
I got me a water bucket, a rain barrel. So I've been at least collecting water to flush toilets and, you know.
yeah, that's always good.
I got a pretty decent spring that runs through my backyard. I buy weird things. You know, I have 4 or 5 different styles of water filtration and treatment. Everything from backpacking pumps to life straws to chemical treatment. Something you should consider investing in would be some potassium iodide. Wards off radiation poisoning.
Yeah, that might come in handy. That just might come in handy.
He's like,
You know,
really?
although I don't see the strategy in striking anywhere but big places, because the whole point of a nuclear bomb is to completely devastate your enemy. Like New York City, Miami, like those are big targets. DC's even not big enough. You're not going to inflict that much.
No.
I think DC has more underground bunkers than you know of. And we're gonna
DC
get
would be more of a symbolism.
we will definitely get a huge notice. There's
yeah.
no fucking way you
this
can
is-
launch shit like that without being detected. Your more likely scenario is one comes across the southern border, a fucking dirty bomb, because that's wide the fuck open.
You know?
You know, you're not to launch a missile is instantly known.
Well,
Especially with all the satellites up there, man.
Whatever is going to hit you is probably already here. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
They've probably been here for years.
Yeah.
It's probably some really sweet swinger couple in Minneapolis somewhere that people have lived next door to the same neighbors for 40 years. But one day, go outside, get in their car, drive into some major city and detonate a dirty bomb. Because that's how shit really works. And nobody likes to say it like that. Everybody wants
'Cause
to get this
nobody
picture in their
understands.
head of this guy who just looks like he's a criminal. And
Nope.
no,
Hey,
you sit
These-
next to him in church every
these
week.
religious zealots, these religious extremists, and yes, they're everywhere. They are Christian. They are Islam. They are
Well, it ain't always religious.
I mean, but any religion, you know, because a lot of people assume that when we talk about a dirty bomb, because of the devastating effect of 9/11, people automatically think Middle Eastern or you know, whatever. And,
Right.
and so those guys that did that were religious zealots. I mean, they were extremists. You know, they actually thought they were going to heaven and have 72 virgins waiting on them. And I'm sorry to say, when you live in the fucking desert, that sounds like a pretty fucking good deal.
When you're from America, 72 clingy bitches does not sound
No,
like
that's
fun.
not a good deal. That's even more reason to stay alive.
Can I just get 15 whores?
Right. Just 1 hour at a time. Like, but yeah, I don't get that. But those people really embrace that. So, but that's what I mean. You know, your Christian extremists are just as extreme as your Islamic extremists. You know, it doesn't matter to me.
No, you're right.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, Timothy McVeigh was a Christian extremist, right?
I gotta say, I started to say it earlier. I got Truth Social. You talked me into getting Truth Social account.
I didn't talk you into it. I
Well,
just told you it was available.
Okay, so I got a Truth Social
Because Google
account.
Play had been blocking it for so long, and finally
And-
they weren't able to do that.
First of all, without anybody to argue with, social media is boring. And the more I feel like it's the right-wing echo chamber that Twitter was for the left.
It's a direct response.
Yeah.
It's a direct response to being banned from Twitter.
And you get...
And
you
I
get-
understand.
I do too, but you get the deep far right. You get the deep far right on there. And it gets like, you see it. I seen it. I seen what the left calls out that they, and I had to dwell deep to find the people that were that crazy on the right. But they're out there. You can dig them out.
Yeah.
They're
But that's
out
the
there.
best part about it. That's the best part about it. Having access to True Social for the last almost month now has definitely taught me a lot about how I align myself. Dude, I'm not as far right as people think. Dude, I'm more centered than I thought I was. There are some people in the Republican Party right now that are just too far right for me.
Yeah, but
There are plenty of Democrats that are just too far left for me.
having said that, I won't demonize anyone for their personal beliefs because that's what we've watched the left do to dissolve itself.
Right. Dude, I
Yeah.
promise you, if Tulsi Gabbard were to run for president as a Democrat, I'm voting Democrat. 100%. She's a center.
What if she runs as an independent?
You can't become president as an independent. You have to have a backing of a party. And that's the reason why they want to create a third party. You have to have the backing of a party. That's the number one reason why our president is it's not corrupt is the wrong word. They're not truly for the American people. They are party first.
Right.
99% of them. And that's the reason why Donald Trump was attacked so much. Because he opened up the door to be like, you know what? These people are first over the Republican Party. I mean, the Republican Party had to come out and threaten to sue Donald Trump if he announced his 2024 run before the midterms. The Republican Party came out and said, we will no longer pay your legal fees if you announce before the 20, because he was ready to announce. When they raided his home, he was about to go ham on them motherfuckers. He was about to be like, you motherfuckers have stoked. I'm running. Fuck y'all.
They didn't have
My
to say
campaign
it.
starts today.
He
The
didn't have-
RNC was like, no, sir.
He didn't have to say it. He didn't have to say it. I mean, the people came to the home and were like yelling at the FBI from across the street. You didn't have to say it. You could see that they woke that dragon.
Yep.
You could plainly see.
Yeah. But they woke that dragon the day they tried to say freaking Joe Biden got more votes than Obama, that was the day the fucking dragon came out the box. They're like, ain't no fucking way. Even Donald Trump liked Obama. I mean, shit. There's pictures of them shaking hands and drinking together.
Right. Right.
Donald Trump used to donate to everybody's campaign. He was Donald Trump. Nobody hated Donald Trump until he became president and started saying fuck you in public.
Yeah.
I still think that's fucking one of the greatest political spans of time that you will ever see. That 4 years under Donald Trump. And if he runs again, you might get a sequel to that. But for 4 years, dude, it was every fucking week. This man was filling up stadiums every week. He barely went overseas. He put people first. It was so great. He's still doing it. That 4 years of just patriotism and support for your country and just the way people felt was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, we were at peace as a country.
And the best part about it is all the bullshit they tried to launch at the wall against Donald Trump in that 4 years, everything has fallen off as whack. Like, they haven't gotten one fucking charge to stick on this man yet.
No.
So that tells me either A, you're a piss poor prosecutor, or B, there's nothing there.
Right.
Or every cop in the whole world is corrupt.
Or
every single one of them.
Or he's just that badass.
Right.
And you don't want to fuck with him.
He's Teflon.
And you don't want to fuck with him.
You don't want to fuck with Teflon.
I mean, we got shit on Hillary.
Those are your options. It can't be anything else but that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It can only be that Donald Trump is a criminal mastermind that y'all paint him to be. Because that's the only way he keeps getting away with this shit.
Some of the all right, I'll just ask, what do you think about Q?
I think it's a combination of a right-wing fucking extreme conspiracy theorist. Like, to me, Q supporters mostly, not all, because I don't like grouping people, but they're mostly, they see a conspiracy theory and they dive head in. And there's no looking back to the real world once they get in. So to speak, going down the rabbit hole. Like, when you go down certain people, when you go down these rabbit holes, everything here becomes a blur. You don't see the real world. You just follow that.
Right.
So I think the majority of the Q followers and believers are just whack jobs that just need something to believe in. Some things Q says might have come true. You know what? It's kind of like Nostradamus back in the day. You spew out enough shit, eventually something's going to be true.
I got a really good friend that thinks it's a psyop. And I'm like, at times, I believe it. You know what? I don't have an opinion. I leave it alone. Like, I just kind of watch it.
I don't know enough.
Like, don't show me a time on a clock and then tell me some shit happened on a date and he posted that intentionally at that time to show me the date. Because that hurts my head.
Just you saying it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I got a vein that just popped up.
It's like
here.
the Paul Pelosi story all over again. It just hurts my head. No, wait a minute. No, who opened the door?
Right.
There were two men in underwear fighting over a hammer. Back door was broken. Is this hyperbole?
So, since you brought it up again, I'm going to go ahead and say this. October 31st, you make sure you come back to this. October 31st at 10:45 a.m. Eastern. We are 1 hour and 5 minutes into this podcast. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, the DA in San Francisco will not prosecute We will never hear another fucking word about this. The San Francisco police will do their investigation, and that leftist ass DA won't prosecute, which is exactly the reason why they got tents and fucking right in the middle of Main Street in San Francisco. It is a shithole.
Did you watch the video I sent you the other day?
Charleston Suds.
That shit hurt my heart.
But
because I can remember when some of those places I can remember when they were.
It shouldn't hurt your heart, so to speak. What it should do, it should show you that the people are tired. You know, all of those empty houses was once full.
That's true.
You know, those people are tired. They're tired of the crime. And I think Amy Goodwin has done a pretty good job with the overall city. But the homelessness and the way they spin the crime, because they keep saying that crime is down. Major crimes are down. But major crimes are only like murder, rape, and armed robbery. Or, like major crimes are 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
Right.
But half of our fucking city is hooked on fentanyl and standing on the side of the fucking street with a sign. Like, what the fuck, dude?
That's not a major crime.
That's not a major crime. But it's an annoyance, and nobody wants to move here because of that shit.
Right.
While you're building $1,300 a month condominiums in downtown fucking Charleston, how are you going to attract these people? You know the Huntington Bank building?
Beautiful apartments.
Beautiful. I've been in there and I inspected them when I worked for the state. Beautiful. Panoramic views of the fucking South Side Bridge. Just gorgeous. I saw it on apartments.com. A 3rd floor apartment, $1,300 a month. 17th floor apartment, $2,700 a month. Who the fuck can pay $2,700 a month while you drive on pothole streets? Like, how are you attracting this type of person? I mean, the majority of the time, aren't these single individuals? Who wants to raise their family in downtown Charleston in a condo? You got to go down 17 floors if you forgot something in the trunk, bro. Like,
well, that's city living. If you're not from Charleston, say you're from New York and you move to that building,
then that's perfect.
That's normalcy.
But not really, because you blink an eye and you're in the country. Like, that New Yorker has lost his shit if he crosses the bridge. Because Bridge Road is some bougie shit, but it's country. Them New Yorkers don't know how to drive roads like that.
No.
Those are the ones that drive like 2 miles an hour. Like, bitch, it's a little pedal.
It's a little pedal. Go. Green light. Man, I need to get up to Kanawha State Forest. Speaking of South Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, shooting?
Yeah.
Bullets or bows?
Why not both?
Why not? You know what I really wanted to do, but I could never find the range empty?
What?
I want to park my car at the range and put my gun in the trunk and then go all the way back to the beginning of Kanawha State Forest and run to the range and practice shooting out of breath. And I could never find the range empty.
Man.
Because how often are you really going to be able to fucking aim? And
now you're making me want to do it too.
You know what I mean? I'm not super physically fit, but I think I'm enough to run a mile.
We could go to the range, and I could drop you off at the beginning and drive up there and have you set up by the time you get there. And just be standing there with your gun, ready to rock, laying on the table, target set up. Doesn't have to be a long-range target.
No, it can't be.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Do something nice.
for
and
me,
close.
all I have is a handgun, so
Right.
it's all short range.
See, I wanna
I'm not
catch it.
I'm not shooting nobody until you're a direct threat, bro.
I want to.
You, on the other hand, you can get somebody a few hundred yards away. You're like, you see the threat from far away. Me, we up close and personal. I'm gonna have to bury your bitch ass. Like you can let the dogs eat him. I gotta take care of this dude. We close.
I got Overwatch.
I mean, I'm pretty good from 35, 40 yards, but I still gotta bury your bitch ass that close.
Speaking of the dogs, I can't. Joni comes home the other day, and there's a chair laying in the driveway.
Oh yeah, you told
Off
me
the
this.
back porch.
You told me this last week when I was up here. Yeah, that shit's funny. For some reason, there's a chair in the driveway. The dogs are just chilling on the porch. I'm like, who the fuck did you eat, bro? Whatever it was, he dropped his only protection. So, I don't know where he went after that.
I love my boys.
Fuck yeah. They come out there and don't even bother me no more, but I can only imagine if you was up here doing some sinister shit with nobody home. You know what I mean? Even me. I don't think I'd get out the car if they was really in that aggressive state. But I think them dogs will recognize me even with you not here.
Yeah.
But then that dude was on some shady shit. That's
Yeah.
why he had to drop that fucking chair and hightail it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's great.
I love.
That's when you know shit. That's good.
Apparently, Rebel just ran across over one day and nipped the FedEx man on the ass, and then came
You
back.
got cameras outside?
No,
Oh, I was gonna say, damn, you didn't get no footage of that shit? Because, dude, that's funny.
my neighbor has good cameras, and he could see my property real good, but he had it off that day.
Oh, see that
Just
alone
that
right
day.
there. That alone.
Why
right
are
there.
cameras never on when you need
That
them? Ever,
process
anywhere?
right there. Oh, because nowadays, they got good ones. Walmart has a good one. $199, 4 cameras, DVR with 1,000 hours. Dude, constantly records. And after 1,000 hours, whatever 1,000 hours is, 24 hours a day times whatever, 1,000 hours, maybe 30 days. I don't know what it is, something like that.
Wow.
So you got 30 days to review your footage before the DVR automatically deletes it.
Wow,
1,000 hour, dude. $199, 4 cameras.
that's
Like,
a good
bet.
deal. That's a good deal.
I was up there the other day.
Are
'Cause
they
I'm really into
wired or wireless?
No, wireless. Wireless. Matter of fact, these ones are like, you don't have to screw anything into the house. It's got like this super duper tape, like some NASA tape, maybe. I don't know.
tape.
I don't know.
They got a
If
contract.
you want to
with
sell
Flex
anything
Tape.
cool, you just say NASA engineered that shit because NASA probably did. You know what I'm saying? They reverse engineered that shit from the aliens. Are we really smart enough to make up duct tape, bro?
I don't really
That's
know,
some handy shit, man.
man. I think the Flex Tape guy made a deal with the devil.
Telling you that glass bottom boat with the flex spray, that motherfucker, he sold his soul.
Well, you know, there's a video of when it breaks.
Oh, that'd be great to see.
But I mean, I didn't care that there's a video of when it breaks. It's still impressive that he got over 200 yards before it broke.
Because that dude wasn't no small guy.
Yeah, you really did fix that shit. With like, you could have got across a river.
Tell me why you had the life jacket on again.
In a bad situation, you could have you could tape a boat together and
For
get across
100
the
yards
river.
or so, bro.
Yeah. You can get across the river.
Ah, that was great.
Come in
dude.
useful on the Oregon Trail.
Right. The damn right. That's just some handy shit, dude. Oh, that's great, though.
And I just recently fixed some shit under my house with the Flex Spray.
Oh, dude.
You put
I
a
use it
couple
all the
layers
time.
of it.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, that man made a deal with the devil.
The bottom of my kayak, when I first bought it, like I bought it used, and it was scraped up bad. And I just took some fucking sandpaper and smoothed out the rough spots and sprayed that motherfucker with Flex Seal. Dude, it's still, like, just now, 3 years later, it's starting to rub off. Where I pull up on the boat dock, you know, because I drag bottom every time I launch or every time I pull up. I mean, I drag bottom. 3 years that Flex Seal's on there. I got to reapply it next spring before I go back out.
Go to
That shit's awesome.
go find you a coal miner friend. Tell him you need a little tiny piece of conveyor belt.
Yeah,
And just glue that on the bottom there where it slides.
Oh yeah. I don't have any coal miner friends though, because I left them all out in Boone County. I think no. Matter of fact, all my coal miner friends are now computer guys because, you know, this environmental shit.
I'm thinking about getting into computers. There's a future in,
Dude,
in
why wouldn't you?
computers.
Why wouldn't you? You know, Jared Tolley.
Oh
You
yeah,
remember this
yeah, he's
guy.
went far.
You
It's
know-
her cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what this motherfucker does?
travels around and fixes computers.
Nah.
What?
Pretty sure last time I heard, this motherfucker is working for GE, building generators. Just because he went and got that computer degree. This motherfucker's making like $70,000-$80,000 a year, bro. Last I heard, he was leaving the hospital and going to GE, I think.
That's beautiful.
That's fucking great, right? And I think Lance is like a higher up at UPS. Like he's been
got
there
a
like
regular-
20 fucking years.
He's got a regular day route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
So-
went far.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, I don't talk to him enough.
No.
I mean, they're both just busy family guys.
yeah.
You know what I mean? My kids are grown. I got all kinds of time. You know what I mean? That's why I
saw-
bowl and
I saw
everybody's
him-
like, "What? You got time to do this?" I'm like, "No, bro, I don't."
I saw him at Target last year around Christmas time. Christy's her
Yeah,
cousin.
I know.
So
But yeah,
I was like, Lance, got all excited. Ran over there,
I
talked
see
to him for a
Jeremy
minute.
more than anybody else.
And when Lance walked off, I was like, I looked at Joni and I was like, sucks being an adult.
Yeah, I see Jeremy more than anybody else. I mean, as you get older, bro, your circle gets smaller and smaller, and you know what? You surround yourself. In this case, your wife, girlfriend, whatever. You surround yourself with people that are drama free, so that when you come home, your home is quiet and peaceful, and you know what I mean. And that's how you relax, dude. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, that's just you. It's always been you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when we were younger, you didn't really like going out to bars. We did.
Yeah.
Those flaming Dr. Peppers will fuck you up, bro.
I try to tell people on a regular basis that I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I used to be an alcoholic. I was like,
Borderline. You borderline.
not like real bad alcoholic, but I used to
No.
drink hard.
But the thing is, when you look back on it, Justin, and I don't know if you remember this, but I look back on it and I remember specific things. Do we only drank like that on payday?
Right. Right.
The rest of the week, dude, we bought a bag and came home and smoked and got stupid at the house.
Right.
That's what we did, bro. We didn't go out. We did that one night because we were fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Like, I got $400.
We could
Let's
spend
go.
like $60.
Fuck yeah. That was when
Get trashed.
That's when it was strictly $50 an eight.
Yeah.
Remember how expensive that shit was back in the day? Shit, when your BMW, we thought that motherfucker was catching on fire. Dude, we were like, get the weed! Fuck the BMW, get the weed!
We were laying face down on the ground behind the car with our hands over our head like it was
Waiting
getting
for
ready
this bitch to explode. Just, shoo.
I had the weed in my hand. You had the blunts.
You know what I mean? Good times. Good times.
Best of times.
Come to find out, it was just a heater core.
Yeah, it was a heater cord. What the-
Definitely thought that bitch was gonna blow up. But I'm glad we got the weed out because your dad came and picked up the car later, and he would have found us out. If
Oh,
he
there's
didn't already know.
He already knew. Everything always smelled like straight up pot.
Right, I'm good on that.
All the time. All the time. There was no hiding it. Hell, the amount of ashes.
Right. Right.
Man.
Hell yeah. Well, man, I gotta get my ass back to Charleston here soon, so
All right.
might
Well.
have to go ahead and wrap this up. Anything else you want to talk about? We got
No,
10 or
man.
15 more minutes. We can chat, but
Well, let's see here.
let's start heading in that direction.
Let's run a couple headlines. Tulsi Gabbard
Left the
hasn't
Democratic Party.
left the Democratic Party, and she basically called him Hitler in a YouTube speech. Literally called him Hitler in a YouTube speech.
Yep. Yep, but I'm more concerned on the world stage, and I know that when we first started this podcast, I don't believe we just wanted to talk about politics and world politics, but there's a lot of shit that just needs to be discussed.
Man, I would love...
Even if we're two dumbasses, at least we're
Oh,
discussing
yeah.
it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
But-
because, I mean... Look, because the dumbasses keep ended up being right.
yeah.
Again, like, New York Supreme Court announced... Have you heard?
Oh yeah, that
New York-
all the people fired because of anti-vax got to not just rehired but back paid. Like this is gonna be million. I think it was 1,400 people were fired,
Right. I mean...
and they've been fired for a year. So they owe everybody a year's salary. What's a New Yorker city worker make? 50, 60, 70?
Oh, but there were some high people fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
High up people.
Firefighters with 20 years of service like lost their pension. Like this is going to be hundreds, maybe not hundreds, tens of millions.
Tens of millions.
Yeah. So that's great. That's great.
And but if they sue for wrongful termination on top of it,
right.
can
Well,
they?
no, I don't think they can.
Well,
I don't think they can. But I don't know that. I think they can just be rehired or back paid. But if you're rehired, take your back pay, they'll find some other reason to get rid of you.
oh yeah.
You'll be the black sheep, and the working conditions will just be shit.
Well, that's fine.
So take your back pay, get rehired, and then fucking quit.
Right.
Give me my 50, 60, 70,000, whatever it is, and I'm going to bounce.
Right.
So, yeah.
People,
it's cool.
I had a guy ask me the
But,
other day.
since you brought that up, there is a small chance, and it's looking better and better almost every day. There's a small chance that New York, the governorship goes red.
Oh yeah.
Lee Zeldin's like really putting it on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know who he brought in?
Who?
Just I think it was last night or night before last. Ron DeSantis
Oh.
came to New York to campaign for him. Bro, they had that crowd jumping. Look it up when I leave here. It's on Newsmax, but I'm sure you'll find it on any other right-ish leaning site. But yeah, Ron DeSantis stumps for Lee Zeldin, I think was the headline that I read.
Oh wow.
Yep. So I mean, if New York goes red, dude, like you're talking. This ain't no red wave. This is a red tsunami.
Yeah,
This is
that's what I keep
I
saying.
don't think New York's really been red since
It
Giuliani, since 2000.
and it keeps getting worse
Yeah. Yeah.
and worse and worse. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know the crime in New York City, but it's good. It's good for the citizens because the New York is already.
This
Been
is how
found,
red the wave is going to be.
Wow. Wow. Where was that at? Let's say Montana. Or Michigan. What's that say? Michigan Dems?
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, everybody. Hey, y'all up there, caretaker.
Oh, yeah.
That's how red that wave's about to be.
Pretty sure
Have you seen the
Joe
the-
Biden won Michigan in 2020.
Have you seen the AOC video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing else matters if we all die from nuclear war.
I supported you, and you're
You
going to
let
get
me
us
down. You're gonna kill us all. And she has nothing to say. She's just like,
It's all falling apart.
And that right there is the reason why you don't elect 21-year-old bartender.
This is why I'm scared. What will they do to keep power? Because
I don't think there's anything you can do. I think the people are about to speak loud and clear.
Yeah. But anyway,
So,
having covered that, see you again next week.
yeah. Yep. Next week it is.
All right, man.
So, man, you have a good week, buddy.
I will, man. This is Justin.
And this is John.
Thanks for the Halloween special, man. See you next week.
Deuces.